Hi, this is Jessica. This is day 2 of my reading the scriptures from a virgin mind's point of view. And, because I never was brought up with any of this, because I was allowed to believe what I wished to believe, because their lives were kind of controlled by that sort of thing. And, so today I'm going to be reading Genesis chapter 2. I also want to make sense of it that this is called the red letter edition. I don't really know what the difference is. I'm pretty sure it is actually a King James version of this book. But yeah, to the high and mighty Prince James. But, my uncle's name is James, so I can't necessarily say, like, how bad of a person could have, but, okay, chapter 2. I would love to pull that computer a little bit closer, but maybe I can actually. Okay, that's good. Says at the top, creation of woman. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to read it one verse at a time. Actually, chapter 1 was long, so I'm going to do chapter 2 and 3, and maybe chapter 4, yeah. I'll do chapter 2, 3, and 4. Nah, actually, I'll just do chapter 2, because I have a lot of talking room. The first Sabbath, the Garden of Eden, God creates a wife for Adam. Oh, I have some paint on my face still from yesterday. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. Okay. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. Okay, so on the seventh day, he was like, phew, that was a lot of work. I'm going to take a break for a little while. And God blessed the seventh day, and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth, when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. Okay. That's just pretty much, just saying the same thing all again and again, which is a bad thing. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. Okay. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. Okay, talking about like the creation of water, like, being able to like give plants and everything nutrients it needs. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils a breath of life, and man became a living soul. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. It kind of talks about, us needing water to kind of survive, but we're made of the ground in a sense. So we still are made of like the natural earth. I kind of like that a lot. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight, and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Okay, it's interesting how they say it's a specific tree and not every single tree. I don't know how I necessarily feel about that, but I think, there's definitely like you have a family tree, and then you have a tree like of helping you decide what your family tree is going to consist of in the future. I kind of think that that's what it sounds like to me personally, but um, And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted, and became into four heads. Okay, so maybe it's saying that the river split up into four sections, like in four different channels. Which makes a lot of sense. The name of the first is Pison, and that is it, which compasseth the whole land of Haliah, where there is gold. Okay, so now there's like talk about a different land than Eden, and that land has gold, which people know, people like gold. And the gold of the land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. Okay. And the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is that encompasses the whole land of Ethiopia. Okay, it's talking about Ethiopia. And it must be just as long as Ethiopia, which, the Nile River, whatever. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is which that goeth forward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. And the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Okay, so it's saying, sorry about all this camera shake. My cat's jumping around like a maniac. I don't know why. But, so pretty much like, it's saying, like he created all these rivers and all these different land masses, and then he put Adam on one, and was like, yeah, let's keep it that way. The Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou must freely eat. So whatever tree he felt like eating, he would be able to. That makes sense. I mean, it's important for people to eat, I guess. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat. Oh, sorry, I repeated that. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. Okay, so it's pretty much saying, don't eat from the tree of like what's good and evil. Don't. Oh, okay. So it's pretty much, in my own personal opinion, what it's saying is that God is telling you you can't decide for yourself what's good or right or wrong. So you got to follow me and listen to what I say. And as long as it's by what I say, it's good or it's evil. Okay, I understand where it comes from and how it's formed, but why? There's so many things nowadays that I consider evil that most Christians would never consider evil. Is that the work of God too? And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him and help meet for him. Okay, so it's saying that man doesn't deserve to be alone. This one dude doesn't deserve to be alone. Which I get, like if there's like some dude, he doesn't deserve to be alone. Nobody really deserves to be alone. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field, and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, and that was the name thereof. Okay, so it's pretty much describing there that Adam named the animals. Adam got to name what a giraffe is, an elephant, a dog, a cat, a chimpanzee. I don't know, maybe they didn't have all these animals back then. I mean, but it doesn't really list any specific ones. I mean, I could see, how, like, or because females weren't allowed to even like make any words up. So like this is all like a language made by men. Like there's no such thing as a female language. So that's the shittiest fucking thing in the world to me, to be honest. Okay. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an help meet for him. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. Sorry about that. And he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, he made a woman, and brought her unto the man. So pretty much it's saying here that, it's weird that he made man out of dirt anyways. So the fact that, woman was made from Adam's rib, I don't necessarily mind as much as like most people do, but just the fact of, it just kind of having an ownership of like, okay, you can't be lonely, so here's this female, like here's like woman because you can't be lonely. That's like pretty much saying that like we are entitlement property in a sense, and that's one thing that I've never really liked about the Bible whatsoever. But I am going to read this whole thing, whether or not it's on camera or not. Okay. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Okay, so the one thing that I seem to have a little bit of trouble with this passage is like, do men actually give birth? I mean, like, I understand, like, they have semen and whatnot, like, seaman, like, or, and then there's something earlier that says something about, like, the he sees, or whatever, like, that's kind of, like, the same thing, but, like, the fact that, like, that they could actually say to, like, 50% of the population, she was taken out of man, and for women to not be upset about that, or to not even question that, is so derogatory and disgusting. And therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and he shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. I like that. I think that is a good value to consider. You and the person that you're with is one flesh, because if you really are going to be with someone for the rest of your life, you kind of are in yourself one entity. It's kind of interesting how it like doesn't even mention like procreation or like how any of that is going to go into play, but it already is bringing up leave his father and his mother. It's kind of like, when did Adam come up with those words or whatever? Because like Eve wasn't allowed to know words, right? And okay, so and then they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. I like that. It shows that they weren't ashamed to be what they were created to be, even if they felt naked and exposed to the world. Um, I like that phrase, and this is the end of chapter 2, and what I have to say about Genesis chapter 2. I think I will be ending up reading the whole Bible, but I don't necessarily know how much it's going to be on, a screen per se. But I hope I am able to do one passage every day. If I was able to do one passage every day, it would probably take me forever. But, yeah. Okay. Thank you for all those who might be watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I might have some better ones in the future. It might get more heated up. But, Genesis seems to go a little bit slow, so namaste.